this discussion isn't so much speculation, although it does go into a lot of speculation, but it's something that I've been thinking about for quite some time now, especially if for those of you that is patrons, you should have seen the Lovecraft episode already, where myself and Apocalypse dove into the runes on Frostmourne, and it's actually very interesting what those runes represent, because the original runes on Frostmourne were actually Warhammer runes, and each Warhammer rune actually has a meaning. It has a name and then a meaning attached to those runes, and the original Frostmourne had all of these runes. So it is entirely possible that Blizzard just replaced all of the Warhammer runes with a new version of their own rune system, but probably with similar meanings attached to them. For example, one of the runes on Frostmourne was the rune for hope. Is it a coincidence that one of the things Sylvanas wishes to destroy is hope? Also consider the fact that she herself was killed by Frostmourne. And if I'm correct in my speculation, those runes represent things that mournblades kill or absorb. In other words, if you look at Uther, for example, what's one thing that Uther missed? Hope. Uther had zero hope for his own salvation. That's why Uther was so dark and couldn't heal. Sylvanas wanted to kill hope with everything in her being. She wanted to destroy hope. So that's that's one of my theories around the runes. The runes represent things that mournblades shatter. So if you have the rune for hope on a mournblade, if you stab someone with that mournblade, even if you don't kill them, it absorbs, it steals that portion of their souls. Now, my theory today, or the sort of topic that I want to discuss with you guys today, is about the Archon. The Archon's wound is peculiar. It will not heal, and according to the Archon at least, the wound have some special properties. They don't tell us what the properties are, but they do have some special properties. So again, sort of playing into this mournblade thing. Mournblades do something very specific, most likely dependent on the runes that is present on the mournblade at the time of stabbing. So let's take a look at the Archon, because there's something very peculiar. The Archon is considered to be the firstborn, right? Carestia, the firstborn. She is the creator as well as the ruler of Bastion. Bastion's original purpose is quite, I think, straightforward. They are the fairies of souls. They pick up a soul in the mortal realms, bring it into the soul stream. The soul goes through the soul stream to the Arbiter, gets judged by the Arbiter, and then gets picked up by the Kyrian again to be taken to their rightful place. So it's not an automatic system. This entire system is sort of manual labor, which I immediately found very interesting, because if it was a natural system, it means that it was naturally set up to work this way. The fact that the Kyrians sort of interfere with this system and they're responsible for where souls go immediately throws a little bit of a shall we say, hinge into this natural occurring universe that we live in right now. But put a pin in that. That's not important for right now. We've done multiple videos on the original purpose of the universe and the sort of manufactured purpose that we have right now. That's not what this discussion is about. And you can watch those videos. It's on the channel somewhere. I put out too many videos, so I don't really know which video you'd have to watch, but it's on there. Okay, so you have the Kyrians performing this very specific task. As part of this task, and the way in which they ensure that said task happens is by brainwashing their aspirants. So an aspirant gets to Bastion and go through this entire, shall we say, cleansing process where old memories are removed and basically the new memories are instilled. So almost re-education. And this has worked for millennia, right? At least longer than any of us know. This has been the system, and no one really questioned the system until Uther arrived. Now, the reason Uther is important to this is how Uther died. Uther died at the hands of a mournblade. A mournblade with very specific runes on it. One of the mournblade's runes was hope, as already described and explained. The others were things like death, things like light. Even void runes can be found on it. Not literally named void runes, but if you look at what that rune will effectively sort of engulf or kill, it's the void. Why could Bastion not heal Uther? What was it about the death of the Mournblade that stopped Bastion from being able to mind control Uther? More importantly, Uther's mind control led to Devos turning her back on the Archon and the whole system of Bastion. I don't have a good answer for this, other than the rune of death on Frostmourne was literally meant to kill death slowly. So every single being that got killed by Frostmourne would basically put another kink in the armor of the Shadowlands. It would destroy a part of the Shadowlands. The biggest part of all of this for me comes from Devos. Devos is convinced, after spending time with Uther, that the way Bastion operates and functions is wrong, and it should be changed. And I think most of us agree, on the surface, Devos is right. What goes further to me, and this is, again, as I said, this isn't necessarily speculation video or a speculation discussion, because this is more questions that I'm asking right now. I have a bunch of questions that I don't have answers to. Devos wants to change the mind of the Archon about how Bastion operates. Yet after talking to Zuval, Devos not only wishes to change the way the Archon and Bastion operate, she wishes to kill the Archon and effectively destroy Bastion. What for? A genuine question. What for? What exactly did Zuval tell Devos? Because Devos tells Carestia, after listening to the words of the jailer and what you had done to him, what did he tell her? Was he lying to her? Because up until now, the jailer doesn't seem to lie. Just to be clear, the jailer doesn't appear to be lying. He says straightforward what he wants, and he just doesn't give a fuck whether you agree or disagree. He genuinely couldn't care less. I don't think. Have we caught the jailer in any lie so far? Because I don't think so. The jailer genuinely doesn't lie. He makes very clear his intentions, and whether you agree or disagree doesn't really matter to him because he's so much more powerful than anyone, so he doesn't care. He'll just do it anyways. So I don't think the jailer lied to her. I think the jailer told her exactly what his brothers and sisters did to him, and that enough was Devos realizing this shit needs to go. But here's the biggest thing, and this is the thing that leaves me scratching my head. Carestia opposes the Forsworn. In fact, she is hell-bent on destroying the Forsworn to save Bastion, until she gets stabbed by Shalamon. Shalamon stabs Carestia, and suddenly Carestia believes that wasn't really a lie. We don't know if that was a lie. But after Carestia got stabbed, this is the moment that Carestia herself realizes that her zone is wrong. You have to think about this. Bastion have stood for millennia doing exactly what it does. And it's not till she is stabbed by Shalamon that she realizes Bastion is wrong. The way Bastion operates is wrong, and that Bastion has to change its ways. Now, the initial response is she wants peace between the Forsworn and the Kyrian. She wants to welcome the Forsworn back into the fold. She didn't want to do that. She had no intention of welcoming them back into the fold. They were enemies. So what changed? The only thing that changed is the stabbing of Shalamon. Now, the sadness here is that we don't actually know what these runes mean, so we have no way of figuring out what runes are actually present on Shalamon, right? And for those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, this is the whole Uther thing. So if you played the Uther storyline, you'd understand what we're talking about now. If you haven't played the Uther storyline, you'd probably be a little bit lost. But Uther's entire redemption arc comes at Uther finally understanding that Arthas wasn't actually as evil as he thought Arthas was. But then also Uther being sort of reunited with the other part of his soul, and Carestia realizing maybe we made a mistake. Maybe our realm isn't as perfect as we thought it would be. All of this happens after Carestia is stabbed by Shalamon. What did Shalamon take? It had to have taken something, and probably not just the sigil, because mournblades always take a part of your soul. They always steal a part of your soul. This is what we've seen from almost every single one of them. Not Kingsmourne, Shalamon. Kingsmourne is the wrong name. The fact that Blizzard named the sword wrong is not my problem. I will not use the word Kingsmourne. It's Shalamon. Everyone knows it's Shalamon. Shalamon is the perfect name for it. I still don't get why Blizzard decided to go with Kingsmourne. That's a stupid name. Shalamon is what it needs to be called. Arthas isn't as evil as he thought in regards to the culling of Stratholme. Prince of Melina, Uther realized that he should have helped Arthas. He realized that he is as much to blame for what Arthas became as what Arthas is. So it's not so much that he doesn't realize that, or that he realizes Arthas isn't evil, right? What Arthas did was evil, but it's more a case of he abandoned Arthas, and this is what led to Arthas being what it is, right? Shay, that's actually an interesting point. Perhaps it's called Kingsmourne exactly for that reason. It is meant to sever you from that which you rule. It could be, right? It could be that that's specifically, because if you think about it, Shalamon would have been the perfect name. Perhaps that is why Blizzard decided to call it Kingsmourne, because it does sever you from that which you rule. Now, I don't know exactly what the future of Bastion is going to be, and I specifically don't know what the story of Uther and the changes to Bastion is going to be. There's no idea. Like, I have no idea what those are going to be. It's one of the reasons I'm so pissed off about the fact that we still don't have explanations for the actual runes that is on these rune weapons. I do know, however, that Carestia's future might not be as rosy as we think. If Uther's wound is anything to go by, it progresses slowly over time. Like, Uther wasn't immediately bad when he got into Bastion. It was spending time with that wound that slowly but surely stole from him. So I think the story of Carestia, the Firstborn, is going to become incredibly interesting, probably within the next patch or two, like not 0.2 or even 0.3 patch. We're going to see a very interesting story from Carestia as she has to deal with the wound that Kingsmourne or Shalamon left within her. It's just interesting to me that that was the moment she changed. Like, being stabbed by Kingsmourne or by Shalamon was the thing that changed her. What do you guys think? Do you think we could be onto a potential big reveal here? Or do you think it's all coincidence?